Hey, how you doing? My name is Artie. Welcome back to another insane video. I don't know how I can keep up with this magnitude. I don't know how I keep up with this insane magnitude. Oh my goodness. But anyway, I want to do something slightly different today. This is a comic book related, so if you want some more real life stuff, I'll do that in another video. Music, I'll do that in another video. Movie, I'll do that in another video. I'm seriously thinking about watching older movies that I have for like years and see if they still have the same meaning for me. But anyway, I'm thinking about doing that. So what it is, I read two annuals. Okay, these are old annuals from way back in the day when I was younger. Okay, so here is Amazing Spider-Man 19. Annual 90. Now this is very misleading. Okay, the basic story of this, and if you want to buy it, great. If you don't want to buy it, that's okay. I'm spoiling the hell out of this. Basically, what happens is it's a standalone story, naturally, written by Louise Simonson, who's a very, very old school writer. Very old school. Usually very good stories, but this story wasn't all that great. It was funny, but not all that great. It starts off, Spider-Man captures some drug dealers, like mafia-style drug dealers. Takes some pictures, and is on his way home. His girlfriend, Mary Jane, decides to cook dinner, burns the living crap out of it. And she gets pissed because of the fact that they're not having a very good relationship. And one of the good things about Spider-Man at the time was that not only he put on the suit, fought bad guys, but he also dealt with relationship problems. And he dealt with relationship problems. He shows up late, naturally. She's mad at him, kicks him out. She's talking about she runs away from him and stuff like that. He's talking about something, she kicks him out. He has a nightmare, tries to call her, she's gone. The next day, she's meeting up with her aunt and Aunt May for lunch, sorry. Meanwhile, all this, if you're an old school Spider-Man fan, you have heard of Alistair Smythe. He's the guy who created the Spider Slayers. So this is his son. Decided to get the revenge on Spider-Man. So what happened is there's a hat that had a homing beacon on it, and Aunt May was wearing it. So he's tracking Aunt May. He say, "Okay, this is Spider-Man, and I'm gonna get." Aunt May gives her hat to Aunt Anna, which is Mary Jane's aunt. Alistair Smythe busts in, grabs Aunt Anna. Mary Jane's holding on to her, try to rescue her, and they fly off. Aunt May's like, "Oh my God, I'm freaking out." Spider-Man finds out something's going on. He gets to the place where the restaurant, sees Aunt May, sees her hat. All of a sudden, finds out there's a hoping being. He's like, "Oh my God, this is all my fault." Goes after the Kingpin because the Kingpin's the cause of this. He goes to the Kingpin's place, starts wrecking people. Kingpin opens the door and says, "Hey, ho, what are you doing?" He said, "You did this, blah, blah, blah." He said, "I ain't doing nothing. What you might be looking for is this dude, Alistair Smythe's son." Yeah, he had a heart, he wants to kill you for some strange reason. I had nothing to do with it. So of course Spider-Man goes off. Kingpin's like, "Okay, I can do my own thing." Goes back and doing his own thing. Spider-Man, during the match. Now what happened is, Alistair Smythe thinks that Mary Jane is Spider-Man, wearing an exoskeleton. And she convinces the idiot to do it, and he's like, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful, but I gotta kill you." So she's leading him on a wild goose chase. She goes to a camera store. Say, "You want to film? You defeat me." So she breaks the window, steals the camera, writes a note to say, Spider-Man, I'm going to the Daily Bugle. Okay, then she flies over near Peter's apartment. She takes off her boot, smashes through the skylight, try to get his attention. Nothing happens. Going to the Daily Bugle. Say, go into the Daily Bugle. We go. He said, oh yeah, because Jameson, he's the one who caused this all too. Because what happened back in the day, J. Jonah Jameson paid Alistair Smythe to create the Spider Slayer to defeat Spider-Man. So he blame him too. Hilarity ensues. Spider-Man catches up with him, rescues Mary Jane. Little fight. Things get crashed. His little robot gets crashed. He gets arrested. Swings away. Changes to Peter Parker. They all have luncheon together, and everything's cool. It's a Louise Simonson was her run on Thor was with her husband was awesome. Back in the day, old school Thor, them two, the husband and wife team, wrote it, and it was awesome. This one is kind of like a mess story. So, but you know, hey, I paid what, $3 for it, so hey, it's not a big deal. All right, now this one, facing the Iron Man of 2020. I remember reading this when I was younger, and I was like, whoa, this is awesome. Spider-Man is one of those kind of characters who always pulls his punches. He don't want to use his full strength. Now this guy, he is Iron Man. He is Arno Stark, a descendant of Tony Stark. And it's not actually 2020. He lives in 2015. And so he's the new Iron Man of that time, of that future state. Builds a bomb. Some guy, some terrorist, hijacks the bomb and sets it to go off. The only way he can do this is to get a retina scan of him so he can open up a place, because he locked himself out. Now, he's a super level genius and he couldn't figure it out. That's the one part I didn't understand, but oh well, serves the story, right? Another thing, his wife and his child is inside that facility as well, where the bomb goes off. So he jumps. So he has a time machine. And what happens? He builds weapons for the government, and they say, "We'll give you money to do your time machine." So he said, "I'm going to do the time machine to go back to where the terror was like 12 years old." That's the last known record for this guy. So the kid's like a little kid. Spider-Man is fighting this villain called the Blizzard and some goons. Captures them. Blizzard runs off. Tries to sell some pictures. Couldn't do it. J. Jonah Jameson said, "Hey, I'm going to send you to Geneva. It pays money." He's like, "Okay, I need money because that rent's due." He needs $300 for rent. $275 and like 20-something cents for rent. Big money. Okay, he goes off. He gets stuff ready. All of a sudden, the kid idolizes Mr. Parker. I forgot. At the Daily Bugle, he meets this little kid who was a shareholder son. Idolizes Peter. Somehow he gets Peter's address and shows up at his house. Spider-Man's like, okay, I'm about to slip out, and he goes to the skylight. Two of his neighbors are sunbathing up there, so he can't come out of Spider-Man through the skylight. So he said, okay, well, the landlord's right down here. I'm just going to walk down the street, walk down the hallway. So he's walking down the highway in his Spider-Man outfit. Kind of funny. Passes the landlord. The landlord doesn't even bat an eye. It's like, is that guy in a Spider-Man suit or is that actually Spider-Man? Didn't even bat an eye. So the kid said, hey, I'm looking for Peter Parker. I was like, oh, well, let's go this way. Funny. So what happened is he's swinging the kid back to the Daily Bugle. Blizzard sees him swinging, different costume. He follows him. He drops the kid off the Daily Bugle. He's about to go off and make his money. Blizzard kidnaps the kid. All of a sudden, the van, boom, it's on the head, on the roof of the car. He's like, oh my God, Spider-Man's here already. All right, I'm ready. Rips it open. It's Iron Man. He's like, Iron Man? What the hell? Iron Man grabs the kid and flies off. And so Blizzard starts fighting Iron Man. And Iron Man of 2020 is like, what the hell's going on here? It's kind of funny because he's not like Tony Stark. Because if he was like Tony Stark, he was like, okay, I know what this was. If this guy was as smart as Tony Stark, he would have disarmed the bomb and be done with it. No big deal. But he's not. He owns Tony Stark's wealth. But anyway. Hilarity ensues. Spider-Man comes in, beats up Blizzard with Iron Man. Iron Man starts to do something. He's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You can't be doing this to this kid. So Iron Man's like, you can't, get out of my way. Get out of my way, Spider-Man. So he grabs the kid. He had a retina scan. Iron Man had a retina scan. It was scanning his eyeball so he can say, okay, I got his retina scan. I can use his retina scan to get in there and save my kid and everything else. Now, mental note, he does have the Iron Man eagle. So, the story is kind of tragic too, because Spider-Man is swinging away with a kid, and Iron Man's chasing him. Iron Man shoots at him, he misses, and then what happens in front of the building? This glass shatters and it's basically messes up this kid's face. Because in the future, this kid has a messed up face and he has like cybernetics and stuff like that. Spider-Man realizes what happened and he just loses it. And this is where a lot of times Spider-Man is very, you don't see Spider-Man lose it, and because when he does lose it, he just goes full blast, full punches. So he starts attacking Iron Man and starts kicking the shit out of him. Now, mind you, this is not Tony Stark. He couldn't do this to Tony Stark, but Arnold Stark, sure, why not? And especially since that future tech should be more powerful than Tony Stark's tech. So, like I said, there's some little plot holes here that didn't make sense, but hey, it serves the story. Damages Iron Man of 2020 or 2015 armor, so he time jumps back. Spider-Man takes the kid to the hospital. He looks at him. He's like, "Man, I can't save anybody." Makes a phone call to the father. Comes up to him and says, "Hey, thanks for saving my kid. I should spend more time with him," and blah 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 blah. He says, if there's anything you can do, let me know. He said, "What about a loan?" He said, "What do you want? $10,000?" And he was like, "How about $275? Enough for his rent." Okay, now that was funny because this guy was going to give him money for saving his kid, and he says, "I just want $200 something." Then we fast forward to the future. Arnold Stark is back at it where the bomb is, and it's a crater. So that means his best friend, his closest confidant, his wife, and his kid destroyed by his own bomb. And that's the tragic story. And somehow or another, years later, they bring Arnold Stark into the current universe for a hot second in the mid-2000s. And that's this story. Other than that, these two stories, I bought this for like what, $350 a piece, $350. It's not the best condition. I have a copy of this book in my garage. But anyway, it's a very good. This story wasn't the best, but it's funny, but it's kind of funny to me. And this one was actually pretty cool. It reminded me when I picked this up at the 7-Eleven. Like, oh my god, this is awesome. But anyway, if you want to pick these up, they're relatively cheap. They should be cheap. I got these for, these are used. My store used, of course. So I got them for cheap. If you want to get, them, fine. If you have the Marvel Unlimited app, you can read these online with no problem. So my suggestion, if you have the Marvel app, which I should be buying again, I could read these instead of buying them. But the thing is, I love the idea of holding it in my hands, smacking it in my face. But anyway, with that being said, these two books, they're not the best, but they're also pretty decent. And that right there is my issue review, my issue with these issues. So, With that being said, thank you very much for watching. Can't wait to talk. Can't wait to show you. Can't wait to talk to you again. And take care of yourselves.